Evening, good afternoon, ladies and gentlemen, little birds and hatchlings. Welcome to another scene in the living world of darkness. I'm sorry. Welcome to the living world of darkness. This is a crossover scene between the Mage and Vampire venue. We see the master of the Kavadi chantry of New York City, Elizabeth, wandering through the cold streets of New York City, from time to time spotting an Aladdin on a skateboard. That is actually a magic flying carpet. Walking through the city, taking some of the public transport until she arrives at her destination where she was supposed to be tonight. Well, her interest of tonight is supposed to be, where she looked into fate and time itself to spot this strange weirdling. And as she approaches the library, she will fire off Prime Sight to inspect it. That can be a little annoying. Sure, actually, she's gonna cast a mind. What would it be? No, correspondence and forces effect to see without eyes for a moment. Basically allowing a sort of echolocation. Wait. Oh, that's not good.
Ouch.
I'm going to take 2 points of bashing damage for that. No, wait, not 2. 1, 2, 3. I'm sorry, I'm going to take 4 points of bashing damage for that. Ooh. No, wait. 2 points of bashing and 3 points of paradox. That was it. Ouch. Ouch, 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 ouch. As she starts to get a nosebleed. Oh. Ow. Oh. Oh. She will grab one of her trinkets, actually a talon. Let's see. Oh, fuck me, dice. Why are my dice not? Hold on. I'm gonna reload because this is not working. Be there in a second.
Okay. As he's reloading, I don't actually know what. Well, Rose is in the library. She controlled the wards as usual, and she is in a library in this living area or sitting area. That wow, your dice are working again. I can see that. Very good.
I failed. Thank God I didn't botch.
Wow, you're not having your night.
No, I'm not having my night.
And she is in this sitting area in the library where she actually has set, well, she's setting stuff on the table, and we'll go into deeper detail when we need the stuff. And she'll activate her Mytosuria 1 and 2 as she looks at the clock. And she nods and walks downstairs.
Let's see if it works this bloody time. Yes, it does. Elizabeth Talon goes off. The spirit of healing heals her damage. Fucking hell. She kind of wipes away the blood and proceeds to walk up to a few of the doors. Kind of not looking, but looking. and I'll do a few of the doors. One of the doors, and
Do a few doors as well.
just like knock.
Before you knock, exactly before you knock, the door opens, and you don't see anyone standing in the doorway, but the door opens to the inside.
Mind sight.
Face sight. Well, what's your point?
No. She's using mind sight. Is there brain activity in front of her?
Does vampiric brain register as being alive or dead?
That doesn't matter.
I'm brain dead.
That, funnily enough, doesn't matter.
I know. No, someone. Yes, there is brain activity, like right behind the door. And as the door opens and you're standing there, you can also hear a voice behind the door. Please, feel free to enter.
She'll bow and say, "I thank you for your hospitality," before entering, and then steps inside. It's quite chilly outside.
The door will close behind Elizabeth, and it will reveal the hooded and cloaked figure, very tall figure of Rose. Is it?
Quite.
Well, it's a good thing that I have the tea ready then.
I would enjoy a cup of tea. How kind.
Do you wish to follow me up to the area that I prepared?
I would very much enjoy it. I am a guest.
Yes. You are. Most honorable guest. And Rose will walk in front of you, showing you towards the stairs, and she'll walk up. And you enter this balustrade. Is that what you call it? I don't know. Well, the second floor, when you can look down on the first floor and see all the books and everything, and on this floor you also see rows and rows of bookcases filled with books and everything. Is dim light of the emergency lights. It's just a little bit flickering here and there. And there is a light coming from a certain area that Rose will lead you to. It's an area where she usually receives her guests, or used to receive her guests. There's 2 brown leather couches, like the Chesterfield couches with all the pins and everything in it. There are also 2 same leather futons. And in between those, there is a small coffee table that you can see several things prepared on. There is a crystal pitcher that has some dark red liquids. And there's a champagne glass standing next to it. And there is a teapot standing on this little light so that tea stays warm. And there is a porcelain cup next to it with a dish with several cookies and bars and stuff that you actually have at teas. There's even scones and jam and cream, clotted cream.
She'll smile and say, "I see you expected my arrival.
I didn't know it was you per se. But I expected a arrival. Please, take a seat.
She'll sit down. She'll very quickly fire off a prime matter and life site on the tea, just to check if it hasn't been spiked with anything and the cookies.
The funny thing is, Rose, as you do that, Rose will turn her still veiled face towards you. I understand you have no reason to trust me, but you could have asked.
This is true. My apologies.
You are a guest.
I have not been always well treated as a guest. Past experiences shape our behavior.
Yes, they do. If I welcome you as a guest, know from now on that you will be welcome as a guest. And unless the guest misbehaves, there is no reason for bad behavior from the host. And Rose will pour the tea in a cup. I hope you enjoy Jasmine.
She'll sit down. My apologies then, gracious host.
She'll place the cup in front of her, of Elizabeth, and then offer the cookies, biscuits, scones. Just help yourself to whatever you need. And if there's anything that you miss on this table, please feel free to say so. And I will try and see if I can cater to your every wishes. It's not usual that I find myself in company such as yourselves.
Well, it goes two ways, really. I've not really had an opportunity to talk to someone like yourself.
I would not have expected that you would have. I would have found that most unusual. As she, Rose, lowers her hood and the veil, and yeah, well, you can see the white hair and the big black eyes and all the Kiasydness that she has.
Kiasydsness. Lol, lol, lol.
You really do have some very remarkable auras around you.
I try and hide them. They attract too much attention.
Yes, I can see.
It seems that I must be more diligent in my studies.
As you said, you have not met one such as myself. It will be very unlikely that you will meet someone like me again. So I don't think you will have to worry. As she pours some of the blood red liquid from the pitcher in the champagne glass and seats herself as well. I hope you don't mind.
Oh, no. Please, this is your home?
This is my library, but I have noticed that some mortal guests who know me for what I am still found it difficult.
I have known many a mortal that drinks blood. Please, I pay it no mind.
Interesting.
In history, there was a disease where one lacked the iron in blood, so a popular cure for it was to drink another man's blood.
Are you sure that that is history?
Today it's a very simple medical, there's a very simple medical cure for it to simply put some extra iron in a person's blood. However, in some medically lacking regions of the world, who's to say?
Who is to say, indeed? Still, history is a very fascinating subject. Are you sure that that history is correct? After all,
History is written by winners.
yes.
As such, only those who can observe time itself know the truth.
Those who would be able to do that would be very mighty indeed.
Indeed, they would be. This is a lovely tea.
I'm afraid that I will have to trust your judgment on this, but one of the ladies who works here enjoys it. And she has a corner of the kitchen reserved for her teas. She has many. I just let my hand guide to what I hoped you would enjoy.
I highly appreciate it.
That is good to hear. However, I know you did not come here to speak well of my choice in tea.
Alas, no. I have come here in all honesty, I have come here for a Fred assessment.
You came here to take something away from me. I do not know what it is, but I could sense that much.
That is a course of action which could happen, depending on the assessment.
Then ask your questions.
In the past, when time arced its ways many different routes, I saw a young man speaking to you. A man by the name of O'Hare?
We met a few feet away from this place. He was sitting at a table. We did talk, yes, on many subjects. He was a very open-hearted young man, very innocent.
Very naive.
Your question.
Yes. What did Mr. O'Hare tell you? How much did he tell you?
He spoke to me on many subjects. And I'm sure half of them are of no interest to you.
And which half subjects do you think are of interest to me?
There is a likeness in aura. There's the waves around you are similar to his in a way. I expect what knowledge is tied to those waves is that is of interest to you.
Mr. O'Hare is well, he's learning. Alas, he's but a mere hatchling that has only recently learned how to fly. The knowledge of our ways, he told you about such things, did he not?
He gave me an overview of those who can change the world.
And how they do it.
And how they do it. This is correct.
I see. As she looks down on her tea.
May I ask you a question?
Of course, I have asked you questions.
What is it that drives you? Your spirit, your inner being, your core. What makes you you? What gets you up from your bed and makes you walk into the world? What is your essence?
Those around me.
You care for them.
Those around me that are both material, spiritual, and flesh.
It sounds wonderful to have such people around you, to have feelings and thoughts of love and warmth in your heart. If that is what drives you. For me, my drives are knowing. Every night I wake, I open my eyes, and I look over the world. Every night, even though I wake in exactly the same space, there is something new that I see. Something new that I know. I am a keeper of knowledge. And I hunger for that knowledge.
I see.
Is it bad? Do you consider it's malign or evil that someone like me meeting someone like this Mr. O'Hare has much difficulties resisting that hunger. Is that evil?
A simple meeting? No. Perhaps even an allyship? Not even that. However, that is not where they stayed. That is not where it ended up.
Knowledge never stops. Every step that you take, every turn that you make, every book that you open leads to another page. Once you open a book, can you not stop reading? And once that book is finished, is there not a next book with more and deeper knowledge of that you've yet found?
Undoubtedly. Knowledge, drive, desperation. They can be very good reasons to wake up. This is a shame. I do agree with what you're saying. However, Mr. O'Hare spoke too loud and too much. And because of that, he has endangered those around him.
Including myself.
Including yourself, including myself.
His actions has brought this meeting along.
Indeed.
I knew you would come. I did not know this when I woke up today. I knew this when I woke up 3 months and 16 days ago.
Accurate. Incredible. Impressive. My name is Elizabeth Dende. Might I have your name?
Which name do you want?
The name you prefer to give me.
In these nights I find myself unsure on what the accurate answer of that is. But for now, I will give you the same name as I gave Mr. O'Hare. You may call me Rose.
You have a very impressive talent, Miss Rose.
I have many.
I would wish you were one amongst us, almost.
It would have been an honor.
Might I ask a question? You are, of course, free to refuse an answer to this question. but I'm very curious.
I see you have the same hunger. Ask your questions.
What is it like? Why are you still here? Why? How do you continue your existence?
I am not that old. I have been aware of this world in this shape and in this form for 80 years. Almost 81. This is a full life. For a mere human. However, my pace is different. I have been in this library and I've not seen more than 5 times the outside world for the first 50 years of my life, or my unlife as some people prefer it to be called. After these 50 years, I found myself without educator. So I expanded my knowledge. I read all the books in this library. And when there was no more knowledge in this library, I took my first step outside by myself. I found others much like me. I've seen them before here, but now I saw them outside. I've met the world, and I placed the knowledge there where it should be. I gave it a place in time and space in the universe. However, there is always more. You ask me how do I keep going on? I gave you the answer. There is always more. And the big question always remains. And that's the question you just asked. But then reverse to yourself. What is it like? The biggest question for me is knowing the one thing that I will never know. What is it like to be that what we were before? What was it like? What is it like to be you? To feel warmth and cold, to breathe, to blink your eyes without realizing that you do that, to touch something and feel the pain because it stings.
Whilst Rose is talking, and especially when she comes on the subject of blinking, she can see Elizabeth kind of blink a couple of times, like, oh, wait, yeah, of course, obviously. What if I can give you an answer to that question, Miss Rose?
This is a very tempting offer.
I have not offered anything yet, Miss Rose. I have simply asked you, what if I were able to answer your question?
That is an offer. If you
One
were
could see
able
it
to
that way.
answer my question, what if what, Miss Dende? What if what? What would I do? What would I be willing to do?
No,
Finish your sentence.
I'm very curious. Would you want an answer to your question now, or would you want to be given an answer, or would you search for eternity, perhaps for eternity, and find it then or not find it then? What if there was the answer in front of you right now?
This is a very difficult question to answer, as there are no conditions. You're asking me what I would do. If there would be a book, and I would be able to open this book, and it would hold all the answers, then I would be very tempted to open this book. However, if opening this book would mean that one of my friends, because I do have them, very interesting concept though, friendship. If it would end the existence of one of them, then however difficult it would be, I would prefer to not open that book. I have values.
I did not tie any. I did not put up any conditions, Miss
Exactly.
Rose.
Which is why it is impossible to answer your question. Because what would I do?
What would you do afterwards? Let's say you opened this book with all the answers to all of your questions, even to the questions you never knew you had. You possess every answer. What would follow next?
What would follow next for you? You ask this question to me as
I
if,
know exactly what would follow next for me.
well, I do not, which makes that another interesting question. If there would be no answers left to search in the universe because I would hold all the answers, then I would move on. I am no different than a mortal. Funny. We do not know what lies beyond. Even if I would know that, I cannot tell what I would do if I have all my questions answered. But I'm sure that if I would have all of them answered, that I would know what to do. Because I would know. So therefore your question is irrelevant. Though interesting.
Interesting answer.
What makes it so interesting?
Because most people, Miss Rose, would simply answer by saying, I do not know. I don't know what will. I'll find something else. I'll find another goal. But you answered with your question is irrelevant because then I would know.
Yes.
Which is an answer I have never heard anybody give me before.
Well, I am happy to amaze you.
I am but mere mortal. A special one, but mortal still.
And I once was the same. And I'm still merely an individual. We're not that different. Just the fact that I have eternity doesn't change, I think, that we still can have the same goals.
Alas, Miss Rose, we might have same goals, we might have same ideas, but spiritually, physically, we are different.
Yes, that we are. We are not called the cursed ones for nothing.
My apologies.
I wouldn't know what to apologize for. I have this life, or unlife, and I can only do with it what I'm doing, living it in my way. I cannot regret any actions that I took to get here. I cannot change myself at this current time and place. All I can do is live and fulfill my goals. Or help those that are close to me fulfill theirs.
Help those that are close to you fulfill theirs. Quite similar, after all.
Anyway, I recently found in the last couple of years that we are social creatures after all, even though I prefer
solitude.
Yes.
Believe it or not, Miss Rose, there are many creatures amongst mine that prefer solitude. Simply being absorbed and reading about the universe, reading the lines that are written on paper and on the very earth itself. All alone, with all the time in the world, sometimes having centuries to do it. But there are those that mingle with others. Just because we have become more doesn't mean they don't want to be with them.
And there are those who have forgotten that being surrounded by others, however inferior at some point they may seem, these individuals can teach us valuable lessons that we overlook because we don't look up from the words that are written down by exactly the same people that we are now ignoring. I have found that however much the world is a place that I want to shut out from time to time, that it is also pulling at me almost addictively. It is a place where I notice I learn, despite the fact that I do not learn facts. I learn other things that are very interesting. I have learned grief, anger, frustration, sorrow, laughter.
Very human emotions.
Things I did not learn from a book, although I've learned to recognize them from books. I've read Freud, I've read Erikson, I've read Nietzsche, Dante. But in the end, all the psychologists, all the philosophers can only transfer words and thoughts, but not emotions, and they are the greatest secret of life.
The self, the psyche of oneself, one's own power. Once you discover that power, once you discover the meaning, you can change the world. Sometimes you don't even discover it, sometimes it's just dropped in your hands.
And thus we learn.
And thus we learn.
There was another, a certain Mr. Winterbourne.
Yes?
I met him as well. He talked. We talked. You must understand that part of this information search, although first and foremost it was to fulfill my own need, my own curiosity, my hunger for knowledge, was also done from a more professional perspective, I'd say. At that time, I was appointed by the leaders of our society as the one in charge of contact with the other unique individuals from the city. I do hope that you will not judge Mr. O'Hare too harshly.
Mr. O'Hare has accepted the consequences of his actions.
Well, I do wish him well. Not just for the answers he gave to my questions, but all in all, he was a very polite and generally nice young man. Though that doesn't always get us far in this world.
Most of those who are nice sadly end up in a dumpster in an alleyway.
I would dislike it if that would happen to him.
Do not worry, Mr. O'Hare is still alive. He's certainly still walking around, and he's certainly still continuing his studies.
That does please me. And I am happy that he has someone who looks after him with such great care. Please send him my regards when you see him.
I do believe you misunderstand, Miss Rose. I do not look after my students. If they do something that will end up taking their life, I will then interject. However, missing limbs or brain damage are consequences that they'll just have to live with.
I fail to see your point. You do look after them.
I guess some would say that looking after them. Refreshing. And she actually has a smile on her face. Do you wish to feel human, Miss Rose?
With all of that's left of my heart, I do. Does that mean that I will do anything to obtain such knowledge? No.
You know many things, too many things, about my people.
I know many things on many
The
people.
manys do not, well, they interest us. However, they're not considered threat level. And you know, probably, well, you've already told me why I'm here. So I propose a trade, if I may.
I do not know why you are here. I know that you are here to take something away. But you took the tea. That could be the thing that you came for.
I am here to make you forget what you know about us.
I see.
However, conversing with you, speaking with you, that is not fair. So I propose something, if I may.
You may always propose something.
I will let you feel what it's like to be human. To have interaction, breathing, blinking, a heartbeat. To have children, to give birth. The sensation of physical pleasure, pain.
And I pay with my memories.
Yes.
This is an intriguing proposal. Before I give an answer, I would like to make a proposal myself.
Of course.
I understand your need to keep secrets for the world around us. We have very much our own secrets that we wish to keep. I would ask to keep the basics. And if you ever need any assistance from myself or my people, then you will know that you have a place, a person to go to, a contact within our society, an open door.
Most of us do not treat you well, Miss Rose. I wish you to know that.
Most of my own kind would have issues if they knew half that I knew. Most of my friends, some of my friends have tried to attack me when they found out I possessed certain skills. I am not unfamiliar with hostility.
You are not unfamiliar with hostility. I do not know the capabilities of your people. I will freely admit that. But I do know the capabilities of my own people. And they are terrifying.
Yes. I do not know the depths in which your knowledge runs. I do not know all details on your society nor on your people, nor do I wish to. Well, that is a lie. And at that, you can actually see a red tear falling from her eyes, because I did say that I had my mitochondria 1 active.
Yep.
So she confesses to the lie, and at the same time, you can see this drop of blood running from her eye over her cheek, and she wipes it away. As I said, that was a lie. I would be most thrilled to learn all that you know. However, I understand the necessity for discretion. Earlier in our conversation, you mentioned history. You said that those who have the time know the truth, who have the power over time know the truth. My people have the power, the sway to rewrite history. We have a lot of possibilities, not just by ourselves, but by the sheer number of contacts and sway that we have over society. A lot of things are unknown to humankind because we wanted to. In this, we can be a powerful ally. I offer you an open door to our society if you ever need one. I ask for the basics of knowledge.
Or crumbling. Or crumbles. She looks conflicted. These things you've said, if we were to wish it, we ourselves could do them easily. Sometimes, Miss Rose, knowledge is engraved deep within you. And there are those pieces of knowledge that even someone like me could not touch.
I know that your kind can do much and does not need the help of my kind. Well, I do not know this per se, but I suspect as much. I possess the unique talent to witness the flows of magic. I have seen your magic. Its colors are beautiful. They're everywhere. Don't get me wrong, I do not underestimate you. I do not underestimate any of you. Not even dear Mr. Connor, who could probably wipe me from this world in a heartbeat if he so wishes. Me, who's been living for 80 years and still have centuries to go. Your kind could, with a snap of your fingers, delete my existence. But from time to time, even though you have all the power, from time to time, you need a friend. I'm offering to, well, be that friend.
So you reject my proposal?
Not necessarily. your proposal is very much one of the most tempting proposals that I've ever heard. To find out what it feels like to have a heartbeat is, even those of us who have memories of their former selves, and most of us do, sometimes long for that heartbeat, the feeling of eating what they call a steak or something else, their favorite food, smoking a cigarette, or getting horribly drunk. These are things that I do not recognize and therefore have no longing to. However, the fact that I do not possess that longing is a longing in itself. Your offer is very, very tempting. The idea of giving up memories, even those that I do not require on a daily basis. However, the idea of giving up knowledge.
You'd give up knowledge to gain new knowledge. Knowledge you probably, perhaps, won't be able to obtain.
You're now putting the thoughts in my head that I have a chance to obtain this knowledge that I lost again. It was difficult to gather the knowledge that I have of your kind. You are one of the most difficult ones, I must say. I would still ask that you consider my offer as well, and we could both accept the offers.
I do like conversations, especially with tea. And you have been a most interesting partner to converse with. And if possible, I'd like to have such conversations again.
If you so accept my proposal, I would be most gladly accepting yours.
Very well. Shall we do it now?
If this pleases you.
She'll finish up her tea, and she'll reach into the little duffel bag that she has with her, and she will pull out the long staff, like that obviously does not fit in the duffel bag, but still fits in the duffel bag nonetheless. And put it on her shoulder, and let it touch the ground. And she'll wriggle her hands over it like this, so she can feel the wood of the staff ring against her own hands. She'll hold out a hand towards Rose.
Rose, before her hand kind of hovers in front of Elizabeth. So she's not yet placing it in hers. is it wise for me to clean up first? I do not know what you are going to do to me. It would be very inconvenient if my employees found a carafe of blood the next morning and a heap of ash, which would be me next to it.
I have no intention of ending you.
No, but the sun could do the same if I would be here still.
Perhaps. The shock might, well, as you say, you have never experienced such things, and your hunger for knowledge could drive you into a state of shock. So perhaps it's wise to first, well, put this in the dishwasher.
Please bear with me for a little while. Feel free to look at any of the books. You will not find anything useful in this library.
I have a very extensive library at my establishment.
As do I.
She'll close her eyes for a second, and she'll start looking through time. Not at these books in particular, but she'll start to look through time at this library. And she'll go back in time, further back in time, further back in time, until Rose is done cleaning up her stuff, and she'll return.
For any or all information on this library, I would gladly refer you to Wikipedia. However,
Wikipedia!
I did write down some stuff. But yeah, no. Anyway, let's not get into that. Rose was cleaning up tea, the plate with the cookies and everything. She'll you can hear her going down the stairs and then open something that's probably wood. She puts the crystal pitcher and the champagne glass in her own hold haven behind the wooden fake wooden door. It's hidden in the wall. And she'll return again, and everything is cleaned up. However, I do request one more favor before we can go through with this.
Do tell.
It is a very huge request. Should I, for some reason or another, because I do not know what effect your magic will have on me, become unable to move, there is an address in my pocket of my cloak. There is a key in that same pocket. It's not far, but I would really prefer to be there should anything happen to me, because I know that place is safe and no sunlight will enter.
I see. Very well.
Of course, I do not know if I can trust you on this or not. So I will ask this of you. would you be kind enough to deliver me to that address? And lock the door and throw the key in the letterbox. The mailbox, I should say. Before you leave, yes or no?
Yes.
I have my Area 1 on. This was not a lie, I presume.
This is not a lie.
Thank you. There is a smile, and this is the first real smile that she had on her face ever since she opened up the door. Thank you very much. And she'll hold out her hand.
Elizabeth will take Rose's hand in both of her
Take off
hands.
the gloves first, sorry, then, because she, yeah. Sorry, go on.
Elizabeth will take her hand in both her hands like this, and she can feel the warmth of the human body coming from Elizabeth. And she is rubbing her hands against yours, kind of generating heat between. Okay, what I am going to do is the following. I am going to establish a connection, a psychic connection between the two of us. That is the first part. I'll explain what comes after it after that is complete. What are you typing?
No. Oh, poor emotion.
What?
He asked if they were fighting.
Yes, we're having a battle to life and death right now.
Very much so. Do you have a live link for him?
Yeah, but I don't really want to give it because,
Okay.
well, I can't edit the video afterwards for some odd reason. Okay. Elizabeth is going to burn a willpower point because of her fucking previous botches. And she'll drop 2 points of Quint. Let's see. She is... She's speaking towards the realm beyond. It's a foci. She is using a level 3 mind effect. So we've been diff 6 with the foci. It's still diff 6. Dropping a willpower, so it's an automatic success, and dropping 2 points of Quint. So that lowers the difficulty to 4. Ha-ha! One, two. That's actually, yeah, 2 successes would have been enough already. So it's 3 successes. Gonna drop 1 into duration and 2 into effect. As unbeknownst to Rose, Elizabeth has to drop her mind shield for this.
Oh boy.
As Rose will start to hear a voice in her own head. Can you hear me, Miss Rose?
She'll nod, and in her head, she will answer, "Yes, I can."
Excellent. Step 1 is complete. Now then, I'm going to hold up our end of the proposal. I will give you the experiences, the feelings you desire to know. Fair warning, they will come in a bit of a rush. However, you'll feel all of them. With those words, Elizabeth will transfer over the feelings of being human, of having a heartbeat, of blinking, of breathing, different emotions, pain, happiness, pleasure, physical pleasure, childbirth, the happiness that children bring you, the love that you have for you, that you would have for children, for your own children, the protective feelings that you have for those around you, everything that would make someone human. And whilst at the very same time she carefully snoops around in Rosa's head and taking the little bits and pieces that she knows about mages away from her.
Let's see. I think I need to roll self-control here at a very, very, very high difficulty.
I'm so glad I have a fucking entropy shield out right now.
I don't know if she would. I don't think she would frenzy, but it's more like, oh god. I'm tempted to say div 9 because this is, but div 8 or 9. What would you say?
Well, for vampire, it's the higher the difficulty, the easier it is to frenzy.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, you need to succeed on the roll to not frenzy.
Yeah,
if you fail,
exactly.
you will frenzy.
You can always drop a willpower.
I could, but I don't think. I always have seen willpower as something that you spend when you're actively trying to force yourself for something. And Rose is not actively trying to force herself. She is more than willing to let herself, to throw herself into that emotional river there.
Okay. Let's see.
But she doesn't know that it would be this, like this, but she could not prepare for this.
I have an idea. I just need to look up something in the vampire book.
Oh boy.
Vampire the Masquerade 20th Anniversary Edition. Hold on, isn't this in the subnet as well? rpthesubnet.com. Vampire. Roleplay. Frenzy. Let's see. Overcoming Frenzy. Smell of blood when hungry is difficulty 3. Sight of blood when hungry, difficulty 4. Being harassed, difficulty 4. Life-threatening situations, diff 4. Malicious taunts, diff 4. Physical provocation, diff 6. Taste of blood when hungry, diff 6. Loved one in danger, diff 7. Outright public humiliation is diff 8. Who would place it somewhere between those lines?
In that case, if it's between that, then I would go for probably 7.
Fair enough.
And my self-control, as only once in the 2 years that I've played Rose, has my self-control failed me.
Yay. It would have not it would have not ended well if you know.
I know. So she stays completely silent. Like there is nothing from her, but there's the slightest shiver in her body, but no other response. However, if because for dramatic purposes, I really like this view. If Elizabeth would, oh yeah, in her mind, oh my god. But if Elizabeth would look around, she can see that from Rose, like from her body, from underneath her cloak, there is this shadows that are dripping out of her as the emotions kind of pass through her, and the shivering of her body kind of intensifies. The shadows almost as if you left the tap open and the water is pouring over the sink and into the kitchen, bathroom, wherever you will place this imaginary sink. The shadows are kind of oozing out of Rose. She has her eyes are wide open and seem to be staring into nothing, and there are tears leaking from her eyes. And as this moment passes, she and Elizabeth lets go, I presume, after this is done.
No, she holds on for like a minute or two.
Okay. Rose will just stand there, not moving, not blinking, not breathing. She, apart from the blood tears and the shadow, she seems like a porcelain statue. Sorry.
Well, what is going on in Rose's mind at this point?
Oh my God! In her mind, she's reliving and she's tasting and sensing and everything that he sent to her. She is trying to grasp it, trying to fully experience each set of emotions. And it's like she's always been painting with watercolor, and now all of a sudden she has seen what oil paints can do. And that's what she's experiencing. That's emotions that they can be so fierce and so strong is something that she's never really experienced before. Only when she used the aura absorption on very traumatic experiences did she come close to this. And after these few minutes, she actually falls to the floor, which is quite something for Rose because she cares a lot about her appearance and how she composes herself in society and in, well, any kind of contact with others. She's always very composed. And she is falling on the floor, and she's still holding Elizabeth's hand. She's actually starting to cry as these tears now really keep coming as she grabs, or she's still holding on to Elizabeth's hand, and she kind of presses it against her forehead. Thank you so much.
She'll lower herself so that there's not big of a height difference. And there. It's okay.
This is so beautiful.
It's human.
I did not know. You asked me the question, how do you live on after, if you would know everything? How do you live on after this, after you experience something so powerful, so intense? Human emotions are so overwhelming. How do you deal with those?
Most of us don't. Most of us just them take let them take you and follow them through whatever place they'll let you end up. You don't quite deal with emotions. They do with you.
This is... I don't know what to say. I have no words for this.
I think that's perfect and beautiful.
Thank you so much.
It was no trouble.
Even those memories, I guess they're gone. They were not... I don't know what they were anymore, but they did not... I would have given... If I knew, I would have given more. If I could. That there is no price for this. Don't ever lose this. For yourself, don't lose this.
Do not worry, Miss Rose. I won't.
I need to think on this. I can't think. I need time to analyze this.
Analyze?
Understand. I need to understand this. I need to deal with this. I will see you to the door.
Please stand up first.
Yes. Oh, of course. She'll stand up and wipe the try to wipe the tears from her face. Actually uses a part of her cloak to wipe the blood drops that have been falling on the floor from the floor. She'll
My inner Tremere says, take that blood, take that blood. I am full of tears.
Mm-hmm. She'll pull the hood over her head and let the veil drop before she will walk up to the front door.
Elizabeth will follow closely behind her, putting the staff back into the duffel bag.
If you ever need anything, do not hesitate to call.
I am afraid I don't have a phone number.
My apologies. I have. She'll actually has to search in her pockets, which is quite unique. Because usually she's very, very organized. She'll pull up a card and she'll pull up a pen and actually writes her phone number on the card. She'll hand it over.
Thank you. If you ever wish to have another pleasant conversation, I believe you have a phone number of my bookstore.
I believe so too, yes.
She'll put the card away.
Actually, before Elizabeth really leaves, probably when the door is open, Rose will bow forward because I figure Rose is taller than.
Probably. You're a Kiasyds. You're probably taller.
Yeah. Would be quite unique if it was the other way around. And she'll kiss Elizabeth on the cheek.
She's quite surprised by that and kind of skittish.
Thank you.
Yes, it was no trouble, my dear.
That doesn't mean that I cannot thank you for this. I don't know if you understand what you've given me. But I mean it when I say that the price that I paid was not. It was not high enough.
If you feel like you owe it up to me, there can be discussions made about that. However, those are for another evening.
They are.
Well
Please
then.
be safe.
Oh, I shall be. Do not worry. And Elizabeth will step forward out of the library and can turn around and wave. And after that, she will walk away.
Rose will close the door of the library after making sure that the rune is again installed on the door. And I think there we can leave the scene with a very confused Kiasyds. Everybody, thank you for watching. And Max, thank you for NPCing.
Lol.
Well, it's something else again to say. Have a pleasant evening, night, and Halloween, everybody.
Bye-bye. Stay away from the changelings.